I don't see the problem. He's been talking to them for 2 years. We just sign a replacement. That's football. I only see Van Dijk staying. How big a meltdown do you think there will be if Van Dijk, because obviously Van Dijk's heavily linked to PSG, if Van Dijk and Salah, if all three were to leave, do you think it would leave a sour? Do you think it would? Do you think it would?
Bro, imagine that happened. That'd be crazy.
Do you think it would tarnish in terms of leave a sour taste in the mouth after winning a Prem? Do you feel like if they do the parade and then the next day or a week later it's announced they're going, do you feel like it will take the shine off it a little bit for Liverpool fans?
It won't take away.
Or is it separate?
It won't take away like, oh my God, I'm so glad that we won't have to win that Premier League, so they all went. I think they're going to absolutely love it and fair play to them. However, my God, losing these three. I have to say, I'm a massive fan of Trent. I think he's ridiculously good. I think he's generational, and I get why the Liverpool fans stick up for how good he is talent-wise as a footballer. But I think Salah and Van Dijk are much harder to replace than Trent. I really do. And I think that you're talking Saliba level to replace Van Dijk, like Bastoni or those type of players that have got to come into Liverpool, yeah. Likewise, you've just said we need to look at, no one's going to replace Salah, so you've got to try and get the next best thing, which is like Saka level or Rodrigo level or whatever you want to go down the lines of. That's going to be really hard for Liverpool to get. It would be absolute meltdown. One thing I will say, lads, I think this summer's going to go nuts, you know. I think this summer's going to go mad because Arsenal need to, City need to, Liverpool need to, Man United, let's be real, without being horrible tell, it's a mess. Chelsea, we've just been speaking about them. Spurs, they've given Ange 400 million euros and look at the state of them. They need to now go again. You've got to look and be realistic about Newcastle, who now have not spent money in 4 windows. If they do keep hold of the likes of Isak and Bruno and go again, they could have a massive summer. And you've got to look at Villa as well, with Champions League money again and with what Emery's doing there. I think this window, boys, could be mad, you know.
I agree.
Absolutely mad.
Yeah. I think so as well. No, if City get through to 115, yeah, we're going to be spending another 200, 300 mil. Arsenal, yeah, you're right. You're spot on, man. I actually think at this moment in time, not just to like wind Liverpool fans up even more. I actually think they're all leaving at this moment in time because, like,
wow,
bro, I'm not being funny yet.
Wow,
but we're almost in April. And they've still not signed a contract. What reasonable explanation can you give me why Salah or Van Dijk ain't signed a contract yet when we're in April and they run out?
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro.
I think they're all going.
Negotiating how much they want. I don't know.
Like what you talk about? Like they've been negotiating this for 2 years. Like I genuinely think all 3 of them are going, and that's why I come back to. And again, you know, I try and put some positivity in there. I'm not sure how much they can get. I come back to the summer. Last summer, did Liverpool know last summer that they're all 3 of them were leaving, and that's why they went, you know what? Let's not spend any money this summer, because in next summer, i.e. this summer coming up, we're going to have to spend a lot of money to replace Van Dijk, Trent, and Salah. And if they would have gone out and spent 150 in the summer, yeah, to get some average players or whatever, and then these 3 guys leave in the summer, and they've got maybe they don't have the budget for it. That I'm just trying to that sounds logical, isn't it? Because there was no, if you think about it, right, there's no real reason as to why they didn't give Slot some money in the summer. They did this PR thing of, Slot just wants to assess the squad. That's BS, yeah. That was PR. I actually think I'm onto something here. I think all 3 of them are leaving, and I think Liverpool are going to go out in the summer and spend 200, 250, maybe even 300 million.
They could do. I mean, Jordan here says that's why they hired Slot and brought in Richard Hughes, a Bournemouth-level sporting director, because they are doing the project thing. Look, it depends on who they go and buy for that money, and we're going to come on to that in a few moments' time. This was from Sean a bit earlier that says, well said, LB. That's just a typical Liverpool fan, talking about the ones being nasty, I think. He says here that they are the worst fans ever. Trent has done nothing wrong. Speak to your board for letting his contract ran down. Owners are tight and not paying up, which makes sense. 2 or 3 years ago, should have got potentially good young players, understudies for Salah, Trent, and VVD.
Well, just funny you say that. I remember saying about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that Liverpool should have gone for Saka about 3 years ago.
Yeah, there was a chance of getting. I think Saka was attainable. But for the right money, potentially attainable back then because of where Arsenal were and everything else.
So the year before their first title charge, I think you might have. I don't think they would be able to get him now, right? But I think 3 years ago, the year before, or was it 4 years ago? The year before the first title charge, when I think he finished 5th in it, Potsy. He finished 5th.
Yeah.
I think that in and around that era, I think if Liverpool would have gone for Saka, then maybe they could have got him. I mean, maybe not, because obviously he wouldn't have played much because Salah would have been there. But Klopp and
I don't think they would have got him, but I get what you're saying. They needed to look at somebody to come in for. It's too late now. They're not
too late now.
Yeah.
No,
Trent, I reckon you'll probably go for Frimpong.
Leverkusen. Yeah,
Leverkusen. Van Dijk. You know what? Imagine if they went and got Branthwaite from Everton. Because he's just said apparently he wants to leave. Innit? I've seen something on Sky Sports.
I reckon Gearhy,
Well, I like him. I like it.
Yeah,
I thought he was fantastic for England. But imagine if they went and got Branthwaite. I was literally speaking about this the other day on the channel. I said, we need more rival transfers, man. Rival transfers are great. Well, honestly, when we signed Tevez from United,
mate.
Oh my God, I've never seen United fans rattled as much as that. And obviously United still won loads of stuff on that, so they wouldn't have been crying that much. But it's just great, man.
Yeah, we got Van Persie pretty much just a little bit after that as well. And although it isn't local rivalry, I just remember that. I remember leaving Old Trafford when Van Persie scored the winner. Yeah. And I remember bumping in. Ironically, I didn't know him at the time, never met him before. I didn't even know really what AFTV was then. But on the way back down, I bumped into Robbie and a few of the AFTV service stations, and they were did the whole "you're not from Manchester" spiel. But yeah, it was they were great. You could feel the tension. Absolutely. This year says if Saka wins the Premier League and Champions League and says he wants to leave, I'll drive him myself and wish him luck. Liverpool had 4 years to do something about it, is what Red Square says here.
That is facts.
Absolutely. But by the way, would you guys have a different opinion? I think we're all us three on the panel, and most people in the chat, although there are obviously some people. I think most of us on the same page. If he was joining a rival, I think Liverpool fans would then have much more Say he joined City.
If Trent was joining City, or United, or Arsenal, then I think there is a little bit more of there'd be more of an understanding.
But he's going out of the country to the biggest club in the world. It's not like he's joining City or United or whatever, isn't it? I think it's fair.
No, I agree. Konate leaves on a free to Real Madrid once his contract runs out next season. Man. Already spoken to his French teammates there. Real Madrid snap up these free signings.
Honestly, when I saw this morning, I could not believe it. I could not believe it. When I seen it, I think someone put it on Twitter. And I was like, no way is Konate out of contract. And I had to checked it, and I was like, oh my days. What are they doing?
When you see these contract issues now that Liverpool are going through, there is part of me that goes, maybe Chelsea are on the side with these 8-9 year deals. Do you know what I mean?
I think City have looked at Haaland, and they looked at what PSG did with Mbappe, and they just kept on giving him a 1 year contract extension. And Mbappe was just, laughing at them. And I think City have obviously just got to Haaland and said, let's just cut the crap, yeah? Let's just give you 500, 600 grand a week. We'll put in mad bonuses in there, maybe raise your wage with inflation, whatever the stuff is, and let's give you a 9.5 year contract because we don't want to be messing around. You don't want to be messing around. You get paid loads and you're chilling. And by the way, see some guy, I tweeted this, and some guy said that doesn't mean he can't leave. No, you missed the point. The point isn't to stop them leaving. The point is to stop a player like Trent, who's worth 80, 90, 100 million quid, leaving on a free.
Yeah.
Haaland might leave. I'm not saying Haaland's going to stay at City for the rest of his career. Yeah, he might leave next summer. The fact is, if he leaves, we're going to get paid. Whereas
this is why when people, the one thing I always fought back on when people said about the Chelsea death row contracts, I don't think it means the players. Listen, people said Man United couldn't find buyers for the likes of Sancho, Antony, and Rashford. The loan deals have already shown that people are willing to buy them, if that makes sense. And look at the money that they're on. Clubs will do it. And a lot of these players in reality will take a slight pay cut because they're already rich. Rashford already got 20, 30 million in the bank. Would he take a 20, 30, 40 grand a week pay cut? Probably to play regular football if he still wants to be a footballer. We do too much of that as fans. You won't be able to sell him. The contract's too long or too much salary. No. End of the day, let's just say Palmer keeps getting better and better. And in 3 years' time, everyone wants him. He's still got 4 or 5 years left on his contract. That element of the deals gives Chelsea a lot of control. So that element is very key. And that's probably what clubs have got to do. Again, I rate Mainu highly. I think he'll become a brilliant player. Man United do his new deal, maybe you want to look at it and go, okay, well, we'll do a 6-year deal with an option to make it a 7th. At least it sees him right through to his late 20s. And then you can reassess things at maybe 26, 27. So it's a sensible thing that City have done with Haaland. I agree. Sorry, I already done that super chat. And that one, Van Dijk is also rumored to leave also, but it's concerning everyone's jumping ship. That's a really good point. I mean, if all these players are looking to, I mean, look, Trent, Van Dijk and Salah are saying they want to stay. And that is, take them at their word. They want to stay.
That's what they're saying PR-wise.
But it's what they're saying. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, look, I look at it I do look at it two ways, I suppose. I'm going to be balanced for a moment. I think you should pay them what they want. But if I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a moment, if they're being offered obscene wages and they're still saying no because they want even more, are they? Is it logical to say they could be pricing themselves out of a new deal?
Exactly.
They can leave.
That's the facts. If Salah's sat there, saying, I want to stay at Liverpool, but he's asking for 600 grand a week, then obviously he doesn't want to stay at Liverpool.
It's like you two. It's like you two. I pay these two £1,000 each an episode to be on the football. I don't. I wish I did. But if you guys came around and went, Terry, I loved being on the terrace, and you guys understand like what things cost. I want to stay, but it has to be like £800 an episode. You know I can't afford to do that, right? And then I say, sorry, I can't. You say, I'm leaving. Then you could say, well, I wanted to stay. He just couldn't afford me. So there is that, and people do that in life. Do you know what I'm saying? Sometimes your bluff gets called. I had a friend that tried to leave the bank I was at. He made up some obscure number he was earning, thinking his boss would say, no, it's okay. No, it's fine. You leave and take the new job. They matched the salary, and then he had to leave. And then he was like, I really want to go to this new company. He made himself look like a right tit. But yeah, look, I had another friend in the same job who tried to do that with no job. They said we're not matching the salary, so he had to quit. He had no fucking job because he didn't have. He's such an arrogant guy. I loved him though, and he ended up leaving just to save face with no job. I was like, you're a mug. What are you doing that for? He went, we'll have to find. Crazy. Anyway, yeah, definitely can happen. But yeah, look, I suppose there is a concerning element if Konate and Alisson and Trent and Van Dijk and Salah are not signing new deals for one reason or another. That has to be concerning. All of our clubs in England have lost a star or two over the years to a Barca or a Real Madrid, sometimes to each other. We've all gone through that. I mean, but that would be if it ends up happening, it's not the same, or maybe it is. You know, when Arsenal went through that period, and it was like Henry, and there was Vieira, and then it was Cesc, and then Nasri, and when you just started losing all your better players. Now I know these guys have achieved and won all the big things, but yeah, it must be concerning for some Liverpool fans. Not only Saka, but I would add Timber to that list too.
What's that in terms of
contract running down? I don't know.
2028. Timber.
Whenever the player gets to 2 years. When the player gets to 2 years, that's when the power shift then goes from the club to the player. Because 2 years goes by so quickly. Like the season's almost done, man. Like I still remember pre-season being like yesterday, mate. I remember the pre-season games and the season's almost finished. You know what I mean? And then I think the players know, man. The players know that.
Do you think Trent as well, right? Looked at the scenario with Klopp and thought, I don't know what I'm getting next year. I'll just do the season. Probably be crap. Won't win anything, and it'll be easy for me to go Real Madrid because Liverpool have been good. I mean, obviously they could have won more and should have won more this season, in my opinion. However, they've obviously looked at him now potentially winning the league, and now it's made harder for it to be accepted. It's like, hang on a minute, we're just going to win the league and you're going now. I think he probably in the back of his mind thought, we're going to be rubbish. Klopp's gone. We're probably not going to win anything. We're going to I'm just going to walk into Madrid. Do you know what I mean? And now it's been made a little bit harder from the fans to accept that point. That's hang on a minute, we're winning. What are you going? Where are you going? I mean, look, you can't. It's Real Madrid, man. Now, I know from last summer, two lads went to a club out in LA, and there was Mbappe there, and it was Jude Bellingham and Trent that were with him. So it was so obvious that this has been going on for some time. Some time. He has been definitely tapped up and been spoken to by quite a few. And that worries me at the moment with Saliba sitting there with Tchouaméni and Mbappe talking about, come to Madrid. It's very hard to say no, man.
I think Saliba might end up going Madrid, bro. Not just dig you in here. I think he's going to
I think so.
Well, I don't think he'll go this summer, but I think he'll go eventually, yeah.
I think you might make the same mistake and he'll go on a free.
Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine the meltdown?
We're very similar as an ownership to Liverpool. FSG and the Cronkies are very, very similar, mate. They only care about getting top four. They don't care about ambition, about winning. They're very, very similar, in my opinion. Look at the state of the windows of Liverpool and Arsenal. Look at the state of them, man. Chiesa is the only signing they had. Crazy, man.
This here says those Liverpool fans hate Trent because they also hate Real Madrid. That makes sense. And what's going to happen to the Trent can't defend gang now? Well, we'll just say he can't defend at Madrid.
Do you know what? This is an unpopular opinion, but I don't even know that it's going to be an absolute given that he gets on well over there, by the way, because the fans do not accept. If you don't defend well, the fans don't accept that at Madrid. They don't go, like Liverpool, but he's a local lad and he's done well. We got to do this generation. They don't care about that.
Yeah, they are not going
to defend. Get him out. They're not
where I think Trent's had it not easy. Where I think Trent has always, as a young player as well, he's a little bit older now, of course. Liverpool fans had his back. They would lie. Do you remember that lie that Liverpool fans told? Oh yeah, no, he does. It's not bad defending, Terry. Klopp tells him to not pick up runners and to stand there, so that if we win the ball back, he's ready to counter. Right? Remember the lies they used to tell for him. Madrid ain't going to do that. Madrid are going to say that was shit. And I think he's got to, I'm sure his team, I'm sure his agents are pushing for that. But I guarantee he needs to be mentally prepared for the fact that those games where he loses possession 30 times and doesn't create, he will get, his car's getting slapped. You know what I mean? He's going to have those fans on his car. So he's got to be ready for that.